On December 25, 2024, in the heart of a quiet residential area in the city center, the sound of a police siren tore through the Christmas morning air. A man, in a panic, called emergency services, claiming, "A stranger is trying to break into my house." But when the police arrived, the situation took an unexpected turn. Two women appeared, asserting that they were the man's girlfriends, while he denied everything. Contradictory evidence, dramatic accusations, and shocking truths began to unfold. Who was telling the truth? When the police siren rang out in the midst of a peaceful neighborhood, no one would have expected it to kick off a story more dramatic than a soap opera. A man, in a state of panic, called for help, reporting that two strange women were attempting to break into his house. What seemed like a simple property dispute quickly turned into a complicated saga, like a long-running TV drama. When the police arrived, the truth became even more baffling. The two women were neither frightened nor running away, but confidently claimed to be the man's girlfriends, even stating that they had been living there for quite some time. Suddenly, the alleged break-in turned into a battle for the throne in a complicated relationship, with all three main characters seemingly vying for the center stage. Then, as if it were a plot twist in a movie, the name Brooke appeared as a supporting character, yet she stirred up more trouble than anyone expected. Brooke wasn't just an anonymous passerby. She was the root cause of the conflicts and tensions everyone was trying to hide. What started as a simple break-in case quickly spiraled into a tangled mess of love, possession, contradictory testimonies, and strange motivations, prompting us to ask, who is telling the truth, and who is living in an endless romantic drama? Without unexpected events and complicated love stories, perhaps no one would ever realize that real life is just as dramatic, though not everyone has the ability to write the script for it. The tension in this case not only escalated but quickly developed like a TV show, with all the thrilling elements: betrayal, conflict, and conflicting testimonies. The protagonist, the man with his sincere and dedicated demeanor, adamantly denied any relationship with the two women, claiming that they were simply people he met by chance after a night out, and that they had only dropped by his house once after leaving the club. Just once sounds reasonable, right? Surely no one could doubt him when he said that. But wait, the story didn't end there. Intimate text messages between him and these two women appeared, acting as irrefutable evidence that he could not explain away. Sure, anyone can send a good morning message to their friends, right? But no, not in this case. The affectionate texts, from "I love you" to "see you soon," suddenly turned him into an untrustworthy character, even though he continued to insist on his innocence, making excuses to deny everything. And so, the story continued to escalate, as the two women accused him of lying to cover up a real relationship, since there was clearly another woman in his house, making the situation even more complicated than ever. The more he tried to explain, the more he became entangled in his own web of lies, like someone trying to escape a trap they had set for themselves. Meanwhile, the police, with faces that seemed to suggest they were in a solving difficult situations competition, could do nothing but watch all the contradictory testimonies unfold. The situation became so awkward that the audience couldn't help but ask, who is truly telling the truth, and who is playing this love triangle game? All these details combined to create a humorous yet surprising drama, making us wonder if real life is indeed like a soap opera, where anyone can write their own script and hope others believe their story. This tense situation not only carried dramatic elements but also had all the characteristics of an unbelievable comedy, as if written by a screenwriter who loved unpredictable twists. When a security camera, helpfully, recorded one of the women damaging the man's car, everything was no longer a simple break-in. Oh no, now the case had entered a new level. Who damaged whose car, and is the man really innocent? Suddenly, the car became the main character in this drama, far surpassing its role as just a means of transportation. As everything began to come to light, the atmosphere at the scene immediately became hotter than ever, not because of the tension between the parties, but due to the accusations the man was making. The police, with expressions that seemed to say, "This isn't the first time we've encountered a situation like this," because, honestly, they might have witnessed thousands of such complex cases in their careers, tried to maintain order while the parties involved exchanged words rapidly, as though they were in a speed-talking competition. Instead of recognizing that he had been exposed before everyone, the man continued to deny all relationships, accusing the two women of being dancers who were trying to take advantage of him. Yes, a clever counterattack, a perfect defense that made anyone who heard it raise their eyebrows and ask, "Dancer? Really?" However, this only further complicated things, like a desperate attempt to turn a bucket into a cup. What did he mean by dancer? Was it some magical term that helped conceal his complex, unexplainable relationships? The answer might be a word that helped him separate himself from the truth. Amid the tension, the characters acted like the leads in a furious action movie, turning every situation into a ridiculous and uncontrollable mess. It felt like they were preparing for a showdown in a comedy rather than dealing with a real-life case. In the end, this story not only left everyone confused but also made us wonder if real life is always this quirky. Because, if it weren't for situations like this, life might become too dull, lacking the thrilling moments everyone expects, right? With a dramatic plot twist, the case ended with an unexpected result, and it wasn't short on humor. One of the two women, who had been involved in the heated argument, was honored with an arrest warrant for property damage, specifically, damaging the man's car. Surely, she didn't think her aggressive actions would lead to messing with the law, with the charge of criminal mischief, a charge that sounds very formal and serious. Yes, criminal mischief, a legal term that might make anyone hearing it feel like they just won an award for property damage. She surely didn't realize that in her moment of showing off, damaging the car would turn her from a participant into the arrested one in this story. But the problem doesn't end with just compensating for the damaged car. The woman could never have imagined that her rebellious moment would open up a new chapter full of complexities, with new legal issues she never anticipated. The battles between the parties quickly turned into a fight between her and the legal system, forcing her to face a series of consequences she may have never prepared for. If this situation teaches us anything, it's that you should never underestimate the power of a security camera and the influence of criminal mischief. In the end, she may have to learn how to handle situations that are just as comical and complicated in the legal world. And here's the most interesting part. The police, with an expression as if they've encountered this situation a million times, quickly informed her that she would not be bailed out immediately.
Why?
Well, because that system only operates on working days. Surely, she couldn't believe she was caught in such a twist of fate. After a long day full of tension and anger, she thought that a simple phone call could resolve the mess. But no, she had to drown in a long night of waiting, not because the case was too complex, but because the system only worked when the sun was up and people were at work. Unbelievable, right? Just because of a small incident, maybe a damaged car, she had to spend the night in a police station, as if she had signed up for a reality show without realizing it. While everyone else was peacefully asleep, she was stuck in an ironic situation, filled with disappointment and anger, and of course, could only watch the clock tick every minute. Maybe she was thinking, did I just step into a comedy? But sadly, this wasn't a movie. It was real life, where what seems like a simple issue turns into a series of bizarre and comical situations. Her frustration and anger are understandable. Who wouldn't feel like they hit the jackpot when the whole day has been a mess, and they end up spending the night stargazing in a police station? However, this is also the humorous lesson she can take from this situation. Impulsive and uncontrolled behavior in stressful situations not only adds to the mess but can also lead to legal consequences nobody wants to face. Oh, I have to admit, this is a sweet ending to a day that's unforgettable. Imagine, after a blow-up of arguments and hasty actions, she now not only has a broken car to look at but also an indelible memory. A long night counting the seconds in a police station. And who knows, maybe tomorrow she'll become the star of conversations, with the story of how I got arrested for destroying a car. A perfect tale to tell friends during future gatherings. Who says tough days can't have memorable moments? In the end, this situation concluded with an impressive yet equally unsolved answer. Although the police did their job and one of the two women was honored with an arrest warrant for property damage, the nature of the relationship between the man and the two women remains an unsolved mystery. This is the moment when all of us, the unwitting audience, are left in an endless conversation. Who is telling the truth? The man adamantly denies any romantic relationships with them, while the two women confidently present affectionate messages as if they were solid proof of a sweet romance, although this doesn't seem very convincing. Honestly, sending a good night message isn't exactly irrefutable proof of a long-lasting relationship, unless he's planning to host a Message of the Year award ceremony. And to make it even more complicated, the appearance of Brooke, another name, is announced without any explanation of their connection to the main characters, further turning the situation into a dramatic soap opera with plot twists. You think you've figured out the story, but then a new character pops up, making you wonder whether you're watching real life or the next season of Game of Thrones. Each character in this story seems to be trying to play a distinct role in the drama, and perhaps they're also acting to win the Best Actor in a Complicated Situation award. Is the man simply a victim tricked by these two women for personal gain, or is he actually hiding a dark story we don't know about? If that's the case, he truly deserves to be invited to a TV show about the dark secrets of the underground world. As for the two women, perhaps they are not just victims of a complicated relationship, but maybe they are trying to keep a secret they don't want to reveal, as if they are playing a game of who will keep the secret the longest. All these questions hang in the air, unanswered, creating an even more oppressive atmosphere. It's like we're watching a series where every episode ends with a question the viewers have to wait a year to find the answer to, but then no one is willing to answer. And that's the point of this case. It's not just a conflict between individuals. It's a super complex story that reflects the chaos in relationships, the hidden motives each person wants to keep secret, and, of course, the mysteries we'll never know. Yes, this is not just a petty argument, but a script full of detective story elements. Everyone in this story is like a professional actor, each wearing a mask, not to hide their identity, but to conceal motives no one wants to reveal. To the point where, if someone decided to write a book about this case, it wouldn't be a story with a beginning and end, but an ongoing puzzle to be solved forever. Like a game of masks, each character has their own reasons, probably very deep and complex. It's just too bad no one is willing to disclose them. And the truth? The truth may forever remain in the dark, like a secret safely locked away in a cabinet with no key. Thus, this situation isn't just a petty argument, it's a battle of secrets that no one dares to reveal. The tangled testimonies, the unresolved contradictions. It's like a battle of wits where the winner is the one most patient in keeping everything hidden, and the others will forever be left outside the game. This case is not simply an argument. It's a free lesson on how things can become complicated just because of a lack of transparency. The story serves as a lesson that all the characters, the man, the two women, and even the police, missed, or were completely incapable of learning. Instead of providing a clear resolution or at least a mutual understanding, everyone continues to live in a state of ambiguity with no end in sight. The police got involved, but instead of resolving the issue, they only contributed to making everything more tangled. One of the two women was arrested, but that didn't solve anything, because the relationships between the parties remained like an abstract painting. Each person in the story paints their part, but no one has the ability to complete the picture. Who's telling the truth? Who's lying? This question becomes even more absurd because each character believes they are the only one holding the truth, but in reality, everything is just a game of misunderstandings and deceit. And the interesting thing here is that such a simple situation, like stopping by a boyfriend's house, could turn into a dramatic soap opera. From a woman just stopping by to the car being destroyed, everything became a series of events that defy explanation, filled with misunderstandings, unclear motives, and definitely leaving the audience wondering whether real life could ever be this bizarre. And from this case, the lesson learned is, in a world where information can be painted in many different ways, be careful when drawing conclusions. Check the information thoroughly, listen to all sides, and don't forget that sometimes the truth isn't just what we see, but also what we don't see. And finally, in complex relationships like these, honesty and clarity are the keys to avoiding unnecessary misunderstandings and conflicts. Because, as we've seen, when no one is willing to tell the truth, everything just becomes more tangled. So, if you don't want to get caught in a funeral procession situation, it's best to make sure that not only are you telling the truth, but you're also acting with sincerity.